Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to episode 248 of the Stone Age Gamer podcast for the week of April 5th, 2019. I am Kris Randazzo, and with me tonight, as always, is three-headed monkey, Dan Ryan.
Three heads are better than one, Kris.
That's what they say.
Facts.
Facts. Carfax. April Fool's... Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about some of those things. April Fool's Day is a day filled with hilarious jokes, among other things. So we've decided to kick off April by taking about our favorite funny games. But before we
such a good episode, I'm so excited.
Before we go any further, here's your weekly reminder that you can email us at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words Stone Age Gamer in the subject line, and you can let us know what you think of our show, what topics you would like us to discuss in the future, or just say hello, because we always want to hear from you, the listener. Dan, did you come across any good April Fool's Day jokes?
No. And the reason I didn't, I think we have documented previously my my hatred of April Fool's Day. And the reason I hate it is because people do mean shit on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I don't like the mean shit. I like the stupid shit.
Yeah, like, stupid shit is great. Like, ThinkGeek always comes up with, like, really ridiculous products, and, like, the Zelda overworld map for Google Maps, like, that was great. But, like, Newsarama ran a story yesterday, and to be honest, like, I forgot that it was even April 1st. Like, it just, I don't know, it somehow escaped me what day, because I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Like, days, I'm going to work, whatever, it doesn't matter. So, like, I'm flipping through Reddit or whatever, and I come to Eric Larson returning to Marvel. I was like, oh shit, I'm so excited. Love Eric Larson. Maybe he'll be on Spider-Man, and, like, I read this whole article, and then I looked at the thing, and I was like, oh, it's April Fool. That's mean. That's not funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that people would legitimately be excited about.
Mm-hmm.
That's not funny.
I wholeheartedly agree. There was something different to it back in the day when you look at things like the old Shenlong trick and Street Fighter 2 from EGM, or like the Sega Neptune one, like some of the old EGM ones.
Nude Raider code, like, that was just, but that's so ridiculous, it's not even believable.
And when they kind of were, it was still like, I mean, I fell for the Shenlong one. I definitely fell for Sonic and Tails and Smash Brothers Melee, but it was just kind of a different time. You know, now that there's the internet and there's so many news sources popping all over the place. When you get, like, we just talked on this week's episode last night with Evan about, you know, the obligatory Fireflies being renewed thing. Like, stop. That's not funny.
It's just mean.
It's
not funny. Like, play a joke, play a prank. Like, last year, you know, for April Fools, you know, Tiff always likes to do something weird with food with the kids. So last year we had dessert or meatloaf cupcakes for dinner with mashed potato frosting, but the mashed potatoes were, like, dyed blue, you know, like, that's funny. And then for dessert, we had grilled cheese sandwiches that were, it was like 2 pieces of pound cake and, like, cheese colored frosting in the middle of it. That's cute. That's funny.
Cute.
That April Fools and a Jell-O drink. So, like, the girls went to take a drink and it was Jell-O. Like, that's funny. Mm-hmm. You know, especially because they're 8 and making children look stupid is great. But wait, no, that was mean. You know, so, like, but that's fun. But yeah, like, I really. Anyway, so short story long, I didn't even look for any yesterday. 1, because I didn't remember, and 2, because I genuinely don't like the day. Makes me sad.
Well, I was pretty happy with this year's because I didn't come across many that were out and out mean. Most of the ones that I saw were pretty funny. Like, the first one that I saw was on the official Kirby website. They announced that Kirby and QB from Box Boy officially switched shapes. and all the official artwork for Kirby was replaced with Kirby as a cube instead of a circle.
That's pretty funny.
And then there was a picture of QB just as a circle, like a flat circle now with a big question mark over his head. Like, the hell just happened?
That's pretty funny.
I was pretty good. Let's see. Ubisoft had a pretty good one. They actually did this in the game. I've seen video footage of it. In For Honor, they replaced all of the armies with rabbits.
That's funny.
And for one day, you were able to play just slaughtering rabbits.
That's very funny.
And when you beat them, they all turn into like cooked chickens or something.
If I had played that game after I downloaded it, because it was a PS Plus title, that would have been even better.
I haven't actually watched it yet, but I heard there's the Final Fantasy 14 Omega Smart Home Assistant was pretty funny. No, like it's like a Final Fantasy themed Alexa or something.
I'd be into that.
I didn't watch it, but it seemed pretty funny. Stone Age Gamer, we actually on the night before, I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was like, I didn't think of any April Fool's Day jokes or anything. Anyone got anything? Because we have a Discord for the staff. And Ryan came up with what the hell was it called? The SAG box, and he did a quick.
I saw that. That was very funny.
A quick mock-up of like a $100 PC with a masking tape on it that said SAG box, and we made a CD drive and made up a whole bunch of fake specs and everything. Just completely outlandish. The specs that I came up with for it were just the most gobbledygook thing I could think of. Let's see. I said it incorporated cup and saucer technology since the CD drive was a full 3 inches bigger than the regular console. So it sits on top of it like a cup and a saucer. This little powerhouse utilizes, I wrote this when I was very tired, the latest FPGA, that's Fun Party Games Applebee's technology, to faithfully recreate a vast collection of your favorite NES games featuring 100% compatibility with over 14% of PAL NES library. Clocks in at 874 teraflops per minute, has 1,945 MIGs of ROM, and both dial-up and broadband internet connectivity for our weekly firmware updates.
Sounds like the console of the future, Chris.
It's wonderful. And then he found a controller, like for some sort of leap pad thing.
Oh God!
He like photoshopped Sagbox onto it. Nice. It's hilarious looking. That made me chuckle. That wasn't bad for like 2 hours notice or whatever it was.
No, it's not bad.
The one that absolutely killed me though was IGN's fake Nintendo Direct. Was
the Mario and Browser or Dungeons and Browsers or whatever?
Did you watch that thing?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, it is hysterical because the concept is we're bringing everything to Switch. So it's like some guy saying we're going to bring everything to Switch. So like it starts with footage of Ocarina of Time 3D on 3DS because it's not even remotely HD. Like we're bringing Ocarina of Time to the Switch and it's launching this year. Hooray! Also, we're bringing Wind Waker HD, and they show a big trailer for Wind Waker HD coming to the Switch. And then they go through a list of all the Zelda games, including the CDI games. And I was like, okay, I already knew it was a joke because it's April 1st, and the guy isn't somebody who works at Nintendo that I recognize.
Right.
But once they announced the CDI games, it's like, okay, all right, let's see where this is going. And they're like, but no, we're bringing everything. And then they're like, Grand Theft Auto, Portal 2, like every game you can possibly imagine. Like, as you can see, we're bringing some of the greatest games in history. But we said we're bringing everything. And that means we also have to bring the worst games. And like Bubsy 2, 50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
Oh, sweet. Love that game.
The Super Mario Brothers movie. Like... They actually called all that. Let's see if I can find the worst games list. Bubsy 2, 50 Cent Bulletproof, Big Rigs, Over the Road Racing, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then it just goes completely off the rails. It's like, and we mean everything: Mario's Pinball Land, Dead Space, Fallout 76. Fallout 77, Fallout 78, Fallout 2016 election. Then they're like Hitman, Star Citizen, Clay Fighter, Donkey Kong Divorce Cruise, Switch Simulator, Xbox One X, And then the guy like keeps losing his mind, and they're like, we're bringing Star Fox 64, Sonic Leashed, Real Housewives, and Knuckles, Celebrity Deathmatch, Microsoft Paint, Mario is Missing, Comcast Customer Service, TurboTax, Carfax, Uber.
Ooh, Uber on the Switch.
And then like the guy starts losing his mind, and his hand starts snapping on its own, and like he looks like he's having a seizure, and like CarMax, Pokemon Metal. All right, these are where the ridiculous ones came in. Let's see. CarMax, Pokemon Metal, personal photos from Yoshiaki Koizuma's summer vacation, Grandfather Bath Simulator X Steam Edition,
Ooh.
Dungeons and Brazzers, Denny's versus Arby's Ultimate, feeding Darth Vader.
I gotta go Denny's.
Yeah, I gotta go Denny's too. I mean, I like Arby's quite a bit, but it's really just the chicken fingers like that does it for me. I mean, chicken.
I feel like in my hour of darkness, I'm tying it back into Let It Be. In my hour of darkness, the light that shines on me was always Denny's. Wasn't Arby's at 3:00 in the morning after a fucking bender.
Yeah, because you go into Denny's and like a waitress comes up and takes your order, or a waiter comes up and takes your order, and like I want some mozzarella sticks. And a grand slam.
I want a combo platter at 3:00 in the morning.
I want a big waffle and a side of mozzarella sticks, and I can do that there.
I can have that. I want a moons over my hammy.
Anyway, the last game in that was a PC building simulator, which made me think of Matt Much, because I can imagine him playing a video game about building PCs.
Oh, 100%, 100%. He has made that game.
So I highly recommend that one. I'll throw a link to that one in the show notes. That absolutely cracked me up. Like when the Comcast customer service thing popped up, I was just lost my mind. Absolutely killed me. But other than that, yeah, it was good. It was a good April Fool's Day. I didn't, like I said, I didn't get shanghaied by any absolute ridiculous stuff that was just made me mad and broke my heart. Wasn't real.
Yeah. One of my favorite craft breweries is Bolero Snort in Jersey, and their April Fool's prank yesterday was to announce that they're taking the next evolution as a brewery, and they are releasing a dating app to help connect craft beer lovers across the state. And like they were offering special check-ins with their new tap room when that opens, and like all that. That's pretty funny. And there was enough there to be like, all right, this could actually be real. And then like, oh no, it's April 1st. Like that was really funny. And then the Vlog brothers, John and Hank, they came up with a couple different things, and one of the things they announced was opening up DFTBA Brewing in somewhere in South Dakota. But they had like some pretty funny names for their beers, and like one of them was going to be a lager beer called Vlogger. And that's pretty good. Like I'm kind of sad that doesn't exist. But yeah,
I'm with you.
Other than that,
the
Eric Larson thing, and like the other thing is too, like I really really hate. So, there were a couple people that were like the community managers or whatever for the North American pad server, and a bunch of them have left Gung Ho Entertainment recently, like just moving on, new jobs, new careers, whatever. It happens. So there has been like whether or not there were going to be more streams coming in North America has been up in the air. And they announced yesterday that the next official stream will be on Monday. I don't know if that's a joke or not.
Yeah, that is a problem with April 1st, is if you have anything important to announce that day, you have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, like it might be a joke. I don't know if it is. I hope it's not. I hope they're announcing that Monster Hunter is coming back, because I really like the Monster Hunter collab. Really good.
Hey, speaking of really good, they just now announced the games for this month in the Switch NES app. It is Punch Out, featuring Mr. Dream, Star Soldier.
I feel like I've played Star Soldier.
Yeah, it's a Hudson Soft scrolling shooter.
Okay. It
classic.
sounds familiar.
It's good. It's a pretty good scrolling shooter. I liked it.
Okay.
And the Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I have never played. I would like to play that.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. It's very.
No, I know
mean.
it's not. But I'm curious. It's an oddity.
It is. It is very much an oddity. And it looks like that's going to be the same across both America and Japan, which is the first time in a couple of months that's been the case.
Oh, cool.
Because, I mean, there's 3 games for NES, and none of them are United States specific, so...
Right.
That's pretty cool.
The PS Plus games this month, I am very, very interested in the Conan Exiles game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Conan. Who doesn't, really? But like, it just looks like a really, really fascinating game. I haven't even I'm currently right now downloading them because I just remembered. Because again, I'm bad with dates. Also, because I've been playing the shit out of the Messenger. I saw that they announced the free DLC for it, which is really cool.
Yeah, they did announce that quite a while ago.
Well, I didn't have it, so I didn't.
So you weren't? Yeah, didn't pay attention. Yeah, the whole. And it looked like there's no other environments in that game that look like that. So I'm freaking sold. I'm so excited.
I'm really, really excited about that. And then we also bought Beat Saber. Finally, splurged and purchased it, and it's so great. It's so fun. I really, really love that game. But we also purchased, so I have to get through the Messenger because it was on sale again, and I bought The Mummy Demastered. So
that's been on my list for ages.
Desperately want to get to that.
That's way forward, right?
Way forward, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I really, really want to get to that game, but I'm just loving everything about the Messenger. It's just so damn fun.
It's a freaking masterpiece of a game. Where are you?
I have gotten 4 of the music notes so far. I got I went through and did the really quick, obvious ones right after you go through the Temple of Time. And then I went and did the whole thing with Colossus and Sus, and gave them the potion. Like got that was the last one I got.
Okay. There's still so much more crazy shit.
I'm really excited about it.
There's a giant butler I don't think you've met yet.
No, I don't know what that is.
I guarantee you it's not what you think. If I say giant butler and you imagine what actually is in the game, then seek therapy.
Fair enough.
God, that game's amazing. I love that game.
Yeah, I really genuinely am having a great time with it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful game. And if you have a Switch, if you have a PS4, I don't know if it's on Xbox One. I think it is. But absolutely get this game.
What's interesting about you playing this one now is that at was it PAX East or C? I can't remember where it was announced, but we just got information on Cyber Shadow.
Yeah, I just put that trailer in too.
Yeah, which is another clear homage to Ninja Gaiden, but it appears to be a pretty different game from The Messenger.
It does. I mean, but made by Yacht Club.
Well, not made by Yacht Club. It's published by Yacht Club.
Or published by Yacht Club.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Yacht Club is still making Shovel Knight after all this time. But no, they're publishing this game. I don't remember who the developer is, but this game looks really cool.
It looks really, really good.
It does. It looks a little faster paced. I think this actually is reminding me a little bit more of Ninja Gaiden than the actual. Like, there's a lot about Ninja Gaiden in The Messenger, but it's a pretty different game from Ninja Gaiden. You know, it's
sure.
There's a lot more, like the whole, double jump thing off of the torches. That's just such a huge part of traversing that game, and the whole Metroidvania angle that shows up later. All of that is very not Ninja Gaiden. Whereas this one looks like it's going to be a little bit more directly in line with Ninja Gaiden, but I just think it's so cool that we've gotten in such close proximity 2 homages to one of my favorite NES games.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It looks pretty great. Give me more ninjas. Ninjas are cool.
Yeah, pile on more of them. I love them. Anything else you've been messing around with?
No, I've just been a lot of Puzzle and Dragons because there's a lot to do in the Monster Hunter collab on the Japanese server right now. We just got the Yu Yu Hakusho collab back in North America, so I jumped back into that for a little bit, which is somewhat underwhelming as far as the return of a collab is concerned, but we should be getting Monster Hunter if the schedule is anywhere close, and it has been over the last couple of months. We should be getting Monster Hunter sometime this month, I would imagine, so I'll just jump right back into that as well.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Well, let's see. I've been playing more Blaster Master Zero. In fact, that's what I was doing before right before I jumped on the call tonight. I just got to this planet that's ridiculously cool. It's like Metroid Prime 2, where they had that like some sort of cataclysm that split the planet, where there was like light aether and dark aether.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, except it's all kind of happening in real time. So it's just like there's these lines all over the place of this dimensional distortion that will insta-kill you if you touch it. And the split in the planet isn't between light world and dark world, it's between desert and ice. So like
That's
there's
cool.
just all these areas everywhere where like on one side of this wall is a desert and then right on the other is this ice world, and you like fall through all this quicksand and stuff, and it's a really, really cool design. I'm super, super impressed with it. The game just keeps being really, really clever. It's very, very one of the things that I had hoped so much about after Blaster Master Zero was that they would make another one that picked up, just kept going with that level of creativity, because Blaster Master Zero was effectively a reboot, and it did kind of retread a lot of what was in the original Blaster Master. But yeah, it did. It retreaded a lot of what was in the original Blaster Master, and it was full of tons of original stuff too. But there were a lot of callbacks to what the original game did, and Zero 2 is exactly what I had hoped it would be, because it is just taking everything to very different directions. It's very clever. There's this whole counter system that is really difficult to master, and I'm just loving this game so much. I'm sure I'm coming close to the end, because I've read online that the game's at least feels shorter than the first Zero. I don't know how true that is, but the game was $10 and it's just been brilliant so far, so I love it.
And that's still Switch exclusive, right?
Yeah, that's still Switch exclusive.
Yeah.
The first one was Switch and 3DS. Let's see, Horizon Chase Turbo, still playing more of that. Still, I've purposely not been playing as much because I'm trying to really focus on Blaster Master Zero and not, that game's really hard to put down, like really hard to put down. So I only really give myself time. Like if I only really boot that up if I'm going to have time to do more than a quick race, because it's never a quick race. I've lost time at work to this. I'd be like, all right, I'm getting tired. I need to take a quick break and just run out to my car, and I'll just play one race. And like 5 races later, I'll be like, I should get back inside. Somebody's probably looking for me.
Somebody's going to notice.
Somebody's going to notice that I was sitting in my car playing Switch for a while. It's just so good. It's so much fun. But on that respect, over this weekend, I had just a few minutes, and I thought to myself, okay, I'll play a match of Horizon. And then I booted up the Switch, and I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm not going to play one match of Horizon because that's physically impossible. But I can play a match of Tetris 99, which I have not played in weeks. I haven't sniffed it in quite a while. So I loaded it up, I got thrown into a match, and I got utterly annihilated and landed in 66th place. Ooh. I was like, all right, look, all right, warm up, mulligan. I can't go out on 66th place. I got to at least get like something decent. And I finally won my first match in Tetris 99.
Yeah, nice.
I pulled a complete victory on my second match, and it was just, God, it was so awesome. It was a long game, and about halfway through it, my son just curled up next to me on the couch to watch me play. And like My daughter came down, she started making noise, and then Karen was just like, "You gotta leave Daddy alone. He's in the middle of a really good match here." And I almost died like once or twice, but I just kind of kept my wits about me and managed to get the right combination to pieces. And then it was just me and this other person for, I don't know, I have no idea how long. I was just like, I can't believe this is still going. I might actually win this. And then just out of nowhere, it did the whole victory thing. I was like, I can't believe I just freaking won finally.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. I've been wanting to win that game. I'm still only on level 17, like, because your profile levels up and whatnot. So it's like,
yeah,
I really have not. Everybody else in the match, like it was in the top 10, was in like level 30s and 40s and whatnot. So I still have not played nearly enough of this game, but that was the second highest point of the weekend for me. I didn't think anything was going to beat it, but I did actually get to start playing Labo with John. And it was pretty freaking magnificent. It's a little goofier than I expected. Like, the writing is very cheeky, I guess the word is. It's full of like, yeah, it's got a couple of little bad puns and stuff like that in it, but as I expected, John is probably just a little too young for it. He can read most of what's on the screen, but he was having a little bit of trouble with the physical act of folding some of the cardboard in some of the more complicated ways, where they'll have something like the easy one we did was the RC car, which is like the little bug looking thing.
Yeah,
and you
that
clip,
just like kind of vibrates.
Yeah, you clip the Joy-Cons onto the side of it, and then the screen vibrates the Joy-Cons and actually moves the thing like an RC car.
Right.
And we finished building that, and John was just playing with it for a while, like completely amazed. He kept showing it to anyone he would show to his little sister, who was like, because she's 2. And then he showed him to his mom, and I forgot when to show it to my mom, because he wanted to show it off to her as well. But it's just this neat little thing. It was super easy to build. It's only like a couple of folds, but the next thing he wanted to build was the motorcycle handlebars, because you can use those in Mario Kart. And
right.
So we started on that one, and we built the left handlebar, and that actually had some pretty complex folds in it, like where you'll have to. There'll be the cardboard's all like pre-folded, like creased or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there'll be somewhere it's like, fold it on this line, but you got to keep this other one straight in the process. Like, don't fold this one yet. So there was like a couple little things like that he had a little bit of trouble with. But I was really impressed with how good he was at intuiting what was next, like where things were going to go once it was all coming together. And he was right pretty much every time. Like, that's what the next step's going to be, and he figured it out. Like, I'm not trying to say my kid's a genius or anything like that.
No, sure,
but it's nice to see he has a head for engineering, which I think is very cool.
Well, and encouraging that in kids is awesome.
Yeah,
like getting to watch your kids like discover and build and predict and be correct is very cool.
It really is. I'm super impressed with this whole thing. I'm so glad that I bought it. I think he's going to keep getting more out of it as he gets older. I told him about the piano, and he thought that was really, really cool. But I was like, dude, that's going to take us a long time.
Yeah,
let's finish working on the handlebars for now. So he's really motivated to come down and keep playing it. Like, he keeps asking, like, hey, can we build more Labo later today? And I'm like, we got to leave for school in 5 minutes. It's what do you mean later today? Like, after school? I don't know what's going to happen after school. So he's very motivated to mess with it, and I'm just thrilled with it. It's great.
That's awesome.
I'm curious about how the Labo VR is going to pan out.
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounds neat because it's exactly what it needs to be, which is you don't strap it to your head. It's bite-sized chunks. It's simple little things. The parts of it that I've heard about that I think are super impressive are the tactile things that the system does. Like, were talking about the bird thing before, like where you can shove your face up a bird's ass. And apparently the what's going on in the bird one is that you simulate flying. And the way the bird is built is that you flap the wings by like squeezing it. Mm-hmm. And when you squeeze it, the Labo kit is actually designed to push air at you. Okay. So when you flap the wings, the bird moves forward in the game and you feel wind on your face.
That's kind of cool.
Similar, there's the foot pedal thing. It's got these extra flaps on the side of it, and when you press down on the foot pedal, the frog jumps, and when you let go, he lands. And when he lands, you let go, the Labo kit actually blows air back at your feet so that you feel it land.
Okay.
I gotta try this. That just sounds neat. Like, it's all very simple. It's stuff that you don't play for more than a couple of minutes, and that's really exactly what you need, because the Switch, isn't designed with a crazy high fidelity screen and a strap-on helmet or anything. It's freaking cardboard build-it-yourself kits. But these this is a really smart approach to it. And when I heard about the way that it incorporates using the cardboard as like a fan to give you a tactile response, it's like, all right, that's just freaking clever. That's really cool. So big old thumbs up there.
I hope it's like, I hope that's not a cover for like, well, we really don't have much other shit. So here you go. Yeah, I think like this blows air at your face. Good enough.
I think that's really all it is. It's like the games are simple. There's way more of them this time. It does seem to be more involved, because that's kind of like the big issue with Labo going in, is that once you've built them, the games are like cool for a couple minutes, but they're not anything you want to go back to. And these are less that, from what I've come to understand. They're not like great games that you're going to be like, oh my god, I can't wait to play more. But it's like, they're kind of fun to play maybe more than once. And again, the whole thing's about building it and seeing what you built and then why it works. So I don't know, I'm all for it.
You're not itching to jump back in and be like, all right, I got to get the next level in Beat Saber, or I got to beat this song on a higher difficulty.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're never going to make Beat Saber for this. It's just not that kind of animal. It's a totally different thing. Just kind of an interesting take on that kind of tech. I'm fascinated by it, and I really am looking forward to seeing what it's like.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Like it sounds neat. Like it sounds.
Yeah,
I
sounds completely
interesting.
Agree.
It sounds like they're trying to do something cool and different and accessible and very Nintendo.
Which is really all that Labo is. They're doing a much smarter job of selling this second kit. Little pieces by pieces. Like, you can buy just a small kit for $20 or something. And now that I've played these kits and I got them for the prices that I got them, I do not understand why these could have been cheaper. Because, like, if there is any game that I could completely justify being a download-only title, it's this kind of software. But inside these boxes are cases and cartridges. Like, they're just full Switch carts. And that was
weird. They
could have cut the cost on these things by completely taking the physical aspect out of it and just sell the cardboard kits. Actually just sell the boxes of cardboard and do that for, make the price, I don't know, $20 less. Since you don't have to buy the physical cartridge anymore, they could have saved all that money on the manufacturing, and they just made it a download code. And because the people who are buying Labo aren't going to be like, they're not the same, for the most part, not the same people who are like, no, every game has to be released physically because digital only is bullshit. Like, the large quantity of people that are not going to touch the Konami Anniversary Collections because they're not physical. Like, all right, I get you to a certain extent, but, this is the way things are. You can fight it for a good long while, and I'm all for it. I love my stuff physical too, but at a certain level, you got to accept that digital is just part of this. And stuff like these Labo kits are basically applications. They're less of games than more like interactive instructions, and that's fine to be totally digital. And it's baffling to me that they went the physical cartridge route on these because they just didn't need to.
Yeah, it's
because I mean I'm pretty well convinced that if these things came out at a lower price point, they would have done better. I mean, not that they were a horrible failure, but they weren't nearly like a rousing success or anything like that. And you know, a lot of it was like, oh, you're charging $70 for this thing, like.
It's just too much.
It was too much for even me. I mean, me.
Yeah.
I didn't buy these things until they were on clearance. Anyway, I got one more thing to talk about before we take our break, and that was last week I was fortunate enough to be a guest on the podcast Trivia Geeks Live. This is a podcast on, I can't remember the network because I'm a bad host. It's a cool podcast, and Brandon from Apathetic Enthusiasm is on it.
Okay.
So what they do is they get two quote unquote celebrity guests from around the world of the internet, and they pit them against each other on teams with their regular cast members. I was on not Brandon's team, and Brandon was teamed up with an actual rocket scientist. So
it was Brandon and a rocket scientist against not Brandon and you.
Yes, it was a.
You are not. I love you to pieces. You are.
I'm not a rocket scientist. No. The girl that I was paired up with though is really cool. She was very nice and very funny. The whole thing is very, it's very comical. I did very well. Our team lost. And this really, really, really cheesed me off. Obviously, only to a certain extent because it is a comedy show, so I didn't want to cause a stink on the episode. Mm-hmm. So they asked me beforehand, what I considered my area of expertise, and I said Nintendo games. And so they asked me a bunch of questions about Nintendo games, and all I had to do was to win. I believe was to get every one of them right, and the one that I got wrong was. The question was, what was Nintendo's first arcade machine? Our first arcade release. And the answers were, it was all multiple choice. The answers I had to choose from were Donkey Kong, Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers, and Excite Bike.
It's none of those.
It's none of those. It's not even kind of none of those.
No, it's not even close to any of those.
The way I looked at the question was, and I said all this on the show, I said, all right, well, this is a loaded question because I don't know what you mean by it, and none of these answers seem to be right. It's definitely not Excite Bike because that was 1985 or whatever, and the arcade version of Excite Bike was called Versus Excite Bike. It's definitely not Mario Brothers because that was a sequel to the sequel of Donkey Kong.
Right.
It's not Donkey Kong because Donkey Kong was literally made of the pieces of their previous release radar scope.
Yeah.
It was actually created out of the bits of it wasn't even manufactured as its own cabinet at first. It was just a what do they call those? Losing the word. A conversion kit.
Yeah.
For a radar scope.
Because radar scope was a gigantic failure.
In America, absolutely.
Yeah,
it was vaguely okay in Japan and a colossal failure in America.
A colossal failure.
Because it was just a Space Invaders clone. Yeah. So the only one left was Duck Hunt. And I was like, okay, so the arcade version of Duck Hunt was called Versus Duck Hunt, and that was released after the NES was on the market. But they could be trying to trick me here because they did have depending on their definition of the word arcade, because there was, I think back in the 70s, there was a clay shooting thing that I think Duck Hunt was kind of born out of, as well as a home toy that projected ducks on the wall. That was called Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
I mean, it was called Duck Hunt and manufactured by Nintendo. It's not the same thing.
No.
But that was the answer that at least made more sense than the other ones, because the other ones were didn't make any sense at all.
No, they're just flat out wrong.
So I went with Duck Hunt. And they're like, nope, the answer's Donkey Kong. And I'm like,
Nope.
no, it's not.
Not even a little bit.
That's just incorrect. But I stopped fighting it on the show because they were running out of time and they were on time constraints. And I did mention it to them afterwards. And they're like, the guy who writes the trivia questions, take it up with him. I'm like, I don't know who he is. And I know I just went on your show. He told me I was wrong and I wasn't.
And I promise you, I'm not.
Yeah, and it was good fun. They had some other really good questions too. Like they almost had me for a split second when they were asking what year did Nintendo make its first game? And it was 1886 or whatever it was.
Yeah, we're going back to the card game.
Yeah, because I was like, I was gonna say, I was thinking like, oh, well, like Color TV Game 6 was. Wait a second, you didn't say video game, you said game. Hanafuda playing cards, man. And I got that one right.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of made me think they were trying to trick me with that question. But like, it's not Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was 1981. Radar Scope was 1980.
Yeah, like it's just not correct. Which is fine. Like, it's an obscure thing. Like, nobody in America knows what fucking radar scope is. That's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that most people are going to be like, oh, fucking radar scope. That was my shit back in the day. Like, no, that's not something anyone says.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So, like, I get that. But, like
Donkey Kong was their first success, but I don't know. I just had to vent about that for a minute. Outside of that, the podcast was great. The host is very funny. It's very professionally done. Brandon is awesome. All the people involved are awesome. It was a great show. I highly recommend listening to it when my episode comes out, which I don't actually know when that is. But we
are going to fight them.
We are going to fight them to the death. The rocket scientist guy actually is on another podcast that I keep meaning to listen to because I really liked the name of it. The name of the podcast is It's Not Rocket Surgery.
That's fair.
No, big thumbs up. He seemed like a really cool guy too. I just had a blast and I was really, really thankful to be on it. It was just it was a very fun thing. So Trivia Geeks Live, check out that podcast. I should totally have Brandon and the girl, I can't remember her name, on do a trivia episode here.
That would be very cool.
I'll ask them what Nintendo's first arcade game was. Oh, that'll be fun. All right.
Fun.
Well, so we've been chatting for a while. We're going to take ourselves a bit of a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about our favorite comedy games. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
From cheat code techus and 8-bit pint glasses to retro mixtapes and cat butts, there's a glass for every brand of geek at craftbranded.com. These high-quality glasses feature awesome designs printed in 100% organic ink and make the perfect gift for a friend, relative, loved one, even yourself. So do what I did. Head on over to craftbranded.com and level up your glassware. All orders over $30 receive free shipping. Designs are limited, so don't waste another second. Craftbranded.com, that's C-R-A-F-T branded.com. Double bonus, for a limited time and exclusively for Stone Age Gamer podcast listeners, Craft Branded is offering 10% off your first order. Use code StoneAge10 for 10% off at craftbranded.com.
Hey Dan, guess what?
What's that, Kris?
We have our own Discord server.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. And by we, I mean Stone Age Gamer, not me and Dan. But yes, join for chat, coupon codes, and other perks at a link that we will provide in our show notes. Because, I mean, I could read it, https://discord.gg/v4g82jh, or go to the show notes if you don't want to type all that stuff into your browser or however Discord works. Want to become a verified customer on our Discord? Just DM an administrator with your customer email address. You must have an account on our store, at least placed one order with us in the past. That's the Stone Age Gamer store. And if you go on this wonderful little Discord, there's a podcast channel that me and Dan are in, and we're talking about stuff all the time. We think. We don't know. It's new to us, but we're going to mess around with it, and it's going to be fun. But there's also a retro gaming channel, a channel about flashcards. You got questions about any of the new products that are coming out on Stone Age Gamer. This is a great place to talk about that kind of stuff. So check it out. Go to the show notes for this episode and look for the Stone Age Gamer Discord. And join the podcast channel and chat with me and Dan in real time, because we're awesome.
We are.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around for, I don't know, it's been a while for us. Who knows how long it's been for you?
I know, really. For you, I mean, maybe you paused it and went and did some shit.
It's possible. I mean, but why not listen to the podcast while you're making a sandwich?
Ooh, make some chili. Put a
or
nice
make some hash browns.
Make some hash browns like Tiff just did during the break in your air fryer.
Did she actually make them?
Are they being made, honey?
We don't have any.
Oh, we don't have any.
And the French fries that we had are totally.
Oh,
that was nothing.
we have. Apparently, we only have freezer burned French fries and no tater tots. We have potatoes, though.
We don't.
We don't have potatoes. Son of a bitch bastard.
Wow.
No tater tots, Chris. That's the update here. Back to you.
It's dark times in your house. I have actual hash browns in my house.
You have actual hash browns at your house?
Yeah, you know, you can get the hash brown patties from ShopRite for $1. I have a package of those. Been eating those in the mornings.
I eat overnight oats every morning.
Really? You know what's really good is the freaking Wawa hash browns. Wawa hash browns are so good. Ugh. I wish
you ever do the overnight oats, Chris? Good stuff.
I'm not really an oats kind of guy. I
really?
know Karen does some things where she makes oats in the crock pot and then eats them all week.
I fucking love it.
It seems to make her happy. No, I got bagels from the local bagel shop this week and been eating bagels for breakfast. It's been wonderful.
All right then.
Anyway,
it's not going to help you lose any weight, Chris. Eating all that bread.
I'm not really out to lose weight right now. I ran 2 miles today. I'm good. I'm not out to lose weight. I'm just out to feel better.
All right, fair enough. Well, I mean, a bagel will certainly make you feel better.
It does, and that's pretty much all I eat for breakfast. So I'll just have the bagel and some light cream cheese, and then I wait till lunch.
Light cream cheese. Ugh.
Well, not light cream cheese. I have whipped cream cheese. Philadelphia whipped cream cheese. It's just a different texture. Actual cream cheese kind of grosses me out because I'm a crazy person.
You got to do real thick slabs of cream cheese and some lox on there. Good shit.
Yeah, the thick slabs of cream cheese. But really, there's actually one bagel shop in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, that I will eat their cream cheese, and I can't explain it. They have no rational explanation for it at all. But any other bagel shop, I go get a bagel of cream cheese, and it grosses me the hell out.
That's so weird.
I am a weird guy.
You are a super fucking weird dude. And Karen is a saint for putting up with all your idiosyncrasies.
It's true. So April Fools.
This podcast just got real northeast real fucking quick. Welcome to the Bagel Hour with Dan and Chris. Do you like lox with your schmear?
Honestly, Philadelphia brand whipped cream cheese. It's where it's at. It's my favorite. And I don't put very much on there. They don't need it because the bagels are really good. Bagel Gourmet. And I could walk there now. They just rebranded the crappy bagel shop by my house. Like Bagel Gourmet bought them out. And now I got awesome Bagel Gourmet bagels. Oh, so good.
Not like a plain bagel, or do you do like marble bagel?
Marble Rise are great. I bought a dozen and froze the other half for next week. So I got a couple of pumpernickels. I got egg bagels. Egg bagels are really good, especially from Bagel Gourmet. Everything. Marble Rye. What else did I get? I got a pumpernickel, I think. And John likes poppy seeds. My son likes poppy seed bagels for some reason.
That's weird. You are a fucking weird family.
Well, what was funny about it is, so I took him to the bagel shop, and he was like, I want one with all the chocolate on it. I'm like, John, those are poppy seeds. He's like, it looks like chocolate. I want that one.
It's
I said, John,
not chocolate.
They taste nothing like chocolate. He's like, that's the one that I want. Are you sure? Okay. and he's just stuck with them ever since. That's the only bagels he'll eat. Poppy seed bagels. He loves them, and I don't know why. I mean,
That's
there's nothing wrong with them. They don't taste like anything. They just taste like weird black dots. But he's just into them, man. And then every single time we eat one, he says, "I want to plant a poppy seed." Like, all right, dude, live the dream.
What's a poppy seed plant look like? We don't know. Never let him get there.
Anyway, that went off the rails pretty hard. Let's talk about funny games, because there's lots of funny games out there, and it's a good time to talk about comedy. So why don't you kick us off, Dan? What's a funny game that you like?
Well,
what game makes you laugh?
What game? The Messenger. I have laughed out loud more at that game. It's gotten close a couple times to where it's like, all right, guys, you're almost at that line. You almost crossed that line. But so much of the writing in this game, it's self-aware to the point of like it feels like Deadpool in certain points. You know, like it's just God.
It does, it does feel a little bit like that.
It's hard to explain without playing it, but you know, just like dumb stuff like. So, spoilers, and I know you had talked about this, but, you know, spoilers again. After you get through the Tower of Time, so you finish the Ninja Gaiden section of the game, and then you become the shopkeeper. Like, there's been this chest that you can't open the entire time, no matter, and, like, there's this funny dialogue tree that goes through, like, I think my favorite thing trying to open the dialogue tree was, like, I'm good. Don't make me count down. And you count, and the shopkeeper legitimately, like, every time you press up on the controller, 10, up 9, up 8, 7, and you get all the way down to the end, and he's like, isn't it funny how countdowns always make you feel like something big is going to happen? And, like, nothing, you can't open this fucking thing. It's just really funny.
God, like, everything with the chest, everything with the shopkeeper. I love all of his stories. It's just crazy, crazy stories, and then like you ask
so
for,
nuts.
Well, what's the lesson behind it? It's just like, I don't know. You ask for a story, not a.
But like,
so
when he tells the story of the one night they made the intern stay late and write funny dialogue for the shopkeeper, like that's really funny. But like, so you go through the Tower of Time and like you beat the game, right? Like you think you beat the game and you become the shopkeeper. And then another messenger comes in, and like you just start going through the stuff, but like your character is behind the shop now, and like you're making callbacks to jokes that were made on you. It is legitimately laugh out loud funny.
When the other messenger starts jumping around like you do when you go in there because the floor appears under your feet, you're just like, oh man, you really got me.
So goddamn funny.
And then he doesn't come back, and you're just like,
what?
I don't know. Dead. I haven't seen him in a while. What do you mean you haven't seen him in a while? You're supposed to be keeping tabs on him. It's like, you didn't tell me anything. Game is so funny.
And the way the prophet, the way, and then all his dialogue is in caps. It's just fucking funny.
Even the first boss, like, he looks like this giant specter, and then he like lands and he's half the size.
It's super funny.
Yeah, no, that game is just absolutely brilliant, and I'll actually piggyback off of that. I would have definitely called The Messenger the funniest game of last year had West of Loathing not also been released.
Yeah, and see, I still haven't played that, so...
West of Loathing was the only thing that happened to me last year that was funnier than The Messenger. West of Loathing, I talked about it plenty on the show. I don't need to go too much into detail, but my God, it's so good. And there was just recently a DLC created for it for the PC game, and it's gonna come to the console versions eventually. Just they have no date to announce, and just like The Messenger, as soon as more of that comes out, I am on it. I am all over it. Those people have me for life. West of Loathing just absolutely cracked me up. The spittoons are still some of the funniest dialogue trees I have ever experienced. Pure, unadulterated stick figure genius.
And just all stick figures.
Yeah, whole game, nothing but stick figures.
I mean,
no color.
That's just absolutely brilliant.
It is. That game's great. buy West of Loathing. Every single human on the planet, buy West of Loathing. It's great.
Even if you don't have a system you can play it on.
Yeah, just go to Target, buy one of those cards.
Absolutely. So we have been playing with PlayStation Now. We've been playing a bunch of Katamari Forever.
Okay.
Where you have Robo Dad or Robo King and regular King of the Cosmos, and like the dialogue in that game. Like I think when the first Katamari came out, I don't think I'd ever played any game that had talked so much shit to me. Like, you start playing that game and your dad's just like, I mean, it's an abusive relationship for the most part.
Extremely.
But like, I mean, he's just so funny and like just scathing commentary on the amount of shit that's in the world. And it is a game that everyone should absolutely experience.
Agreed. I love Katamari. I have the most experience with the first one. But again, it's very, very funny. It's very strange, but the King of all Cosmos is just hilarious.
He's a very funny character.
Mm-hmm.
What else
let's
you got?
see. What else have I got? I have to give a shout out to the Super NES quote unquote classic, because I seem to be one of the only people who've played this game, Tin Star.
Mm-hmm.
Tin Star for Super Nintendo is a game that I have loved since it came out. It was a later Super NES game. It was published by Nintendo. I actually interviewed the game's composer, one of the game's composers, on Waveback a little while ago. Learned a whole bunch about the development of the game. But Tin Star is really funny. It's very much the same kind of humor as The Tick. You play, the game takes place in the Wild East. Everything is robots to the extent that it makes absolutely no sense. You ride horses. Tin Star's trusty steed is named Aluminum. He's got a sidekick named Mo. He's fighting against the Bad Oil Gang, who's taken over the town, and Tin Star shows up to be the new sheriff. Something about they make some like really bad joke in the beginning about him being hired as the new janitor because he's going to clean up the town. But like it's delivered like the Tick would say it, you know?
Right.
That just completely, this guy is very stupid and it's delightful. There's a lot of really good comedy bits, especially considering how old it is. This game is really, really, really well written. It's very funny. Lots of clever wordplay. It looks gorgeous. It's a very strange game too, because it's a target shooting game. You could play it with a Super Scope or a controller,
right.
But it's best played with the Super NES mouse, the Mario Paint mouse. That game controls great like that. Tin Star, look it up. It's wonderful. It's very funny.
Sticking with comedic yet abusive relationships, on your list you had Portal, all of them. Including Bridge Constructor Portal. Yep. The shit-talking game that the King of all Cosmos has is taken up to just a whole other level with GLaDOS.
Yeah, GLaDOS is the freaking best.
What's so funny about Portal is that it's such a weird concept to begin with. Yet somehow within that world, everything that they've done works and makes sense. And it's a testament to the writing that in Portal 2, when you're carrying a potato with you for a large part of the game that has someone's consciousness in it, it doesn't feel weird. It's just oddly charming and funny all at the same time. It is an absolutely hysterical game and absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, could not possibly agree with you harder on that one.
And like, I almost feel bad that the cake is a lie has become like the most well-known phrase, because that's like the least funny bit.
It is
from the game,
and it wasn't. There was totally a cake at the end,
right? I don't know, maybe that's what makes it funny.
GLaDOS is phenomenal. I also have to give a shout out to both Cave Johnson and Wheatley.
Oh God, Cave Johnson and Wheatley, space. I'll go to space.
I'm in space.
It's so funny.
It's just fantastic. Cave Johnson, the whole Lemons rant, you know, it was just, jeez, that was out of this world. I love Portal 2. Man, I got to replay that game.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about it on the show a while ago. I got to wait until John's older because we played through Portal and he loved that one, but like,
Right.
I can't really show him Portal 2 yet because that game's a lot more vicious.
It really is. There's a lot of hurt in that game.
Yeah,
like
there
emotional
was
hurt.
some very disturbing things happen in that game and some disturbing imagery that I don't think he's quite ready for yet. But
how old is he?
He's 5.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, I mean like 6 or 7.
I mean, he's ready for like Child's Play and like Nightmare on Elm Street, but not Portal 2.
Not Portal 2. Oh, let's see. I will go with. I mean, obviously, I'm saving my number one for last. I want to give a special shout out to the Paper Mario series, particularly Super Paper Mario. There's a piece of the game that I never finished the game, but I got pretty far in it. There was a piece of the game that seems to have showed up online a bunch lately that reminded me of how much I loved that game. I remember there being some really good comedy beats, but in particular, there was a part where I think the princess was being asked, "Do you love going on message boards and complaining about games you've never played?" Or the game was very self-aware with its writing, and I really appreciated that. I mean, really, most of the Mario RPGs in general have a very, very funny vibe to them, like some really clever writing. I think it was the original Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, where the plot of the game was that like somebody put a curse on the princess so that her words were explosive. So like she talked, and then the weird symbols that her voice turned into in her speech bubble would fall out of the speech bubble and explode.
Because you know that's just the way these things work. No, it's all the Mario RPGs have pretty decent writing, but I just really remember specifically Super Paper Mario impressing me, and I'm sad I never got around to finishing that game because I was really enjoying it. I will go with the Guacamelee games.
Oh yeah, they are pretty funny. The Chuzo statues.
There is, there's just a lot of really tongue-in-cheek humor in those, and a lot of the humor is like very subtle nods to other things, and you know, like in the second one, there's like the whole meme area that you go through that's very funny, and there's like a lot of the different posters that you see in the game, and just different stuff where you're like, all right, I see what you did there, I get it, that's funny, I like those. You know, and it's plus they're just phenomenal games, but the writing is good, the story is good. Some of the characters in there are just absolutely ridiculous, especially the second one when you get like the bits with the chickens and you get to like just the whole mission that you have to go on, and when you have all of the men turning into goats in the room, it's just like instead of just having your one dude that like guides you through the game, there's like 15 of them and they're all talking like about their different dimensions and stuff. It's really cool and very fun.
Yeah, Guacamelee is pretty great. They're on my list. Games keep happening. Just keeping more games to play. I'll get to them eventually.
I know, I just bought 2 more. So, you know, I've more games to play now too. We'll talk about them next week though.
We will.
Because I've only got one more that I even really want to talk about.
I have to mention the Super Smash Brothers. I don't know. Have you ever actually watched any of these? The Codex or
the Codec ones? Yeah, they're pretty funny. Codex
and Palutena's Guidance. Because Solid Snake was in Smash Brothers Brawl, this wonderful kind of Easter egg thing where if you played it did a taunt at a certain point. The voice actors from Metal Gear Solid would come out and have whole codec conversations about whoever else Snake was fighting against, and they were absolutely hilarious because you've got David Hayter's Solid Snake talking to Colonel Campbell about like Jigglypuff. They're just wonderful, and then
they're 100% serious. They're talking.
they're delivered just amazingly. Like the one where he started talking to like it was like the weird crossover one with the Star Fox characters. Like started having a conversation with him, and then there was also Palutena's Guidance, which was kind of like the follow up to Snake's Codex in Smash 4, where they basically went through. Because Kid Icarus Uprising, I'll just throw that one in with this one, is another really funny game. It's got just really great dialogue. It's very well written. So it was characters from Kid Icarus Uprising, because the whole thing in Uprising is that there's conversations going on the entire, like all throughout the game. There's just, the plot is constantly being told. So there's not a ton of cutscenes because most of the story is just happening as you're playing the game. But the Palutena's Guidance bits are all just great. They're just wonderful.
The last one that I wanted to mention is one that we have mentioned a bunch before, but it is sophomoric. It is ridiculous, but I love Conker's Bad Fur Day. I love.
Oh my god.
The Great Mighty Pooh makes me laugh every time I see it, and like it's not just the sophomoric stuff that I think is funny. I mean, it is, because I'm not.
It
dead,
is,
and Pooh jokes are funny still. But like just the fact that it opens up with A Clockwork Orange,
yeah,
that is objectively hysterical. That this Nintendo game starring a cute, cuddly squirrel opens up with with the exact shot from A Clockwork Orange. That is brilliant and hysterical, and it's so British and so funny, and it's just weird. And there's a lot of nonsense in it. There's a lot of very silly humor. Walking around drunk, peeing on things to put them out. That's fucking funny. It's funny.
Honestly, and I really love that game, and I played the heck out of it when it came out. The line that has stuck with me the most, and honestly, I think the funniest line in the game, just because of the flawless delivery and the fact that it is such an off-the-wall response, is is right in the beginning of the game when you're talking to that gargoyle statue.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, if you sat on a piece of Gothic architecture for 800 years, it gets right up your ass, And Conker's response is, a little bit early in the day to be talking about the Gothic architecture. Like, what does that even mean? I freaking love that line.
It's so funny. It is all the weird, because like British comedy is very weird. It's still very silly, like if you go back and watch like old Monty Python stuff, like there's a lot of it that misses. Mm-hmm. But the things that hit in the weird British comedy stuff are just like the Ministry of Silly Walks is such a simple concept.
Timeless.
But it's like, it's just silly. I mean, it's right there in the name, but it's just this weird, goofy, silly thing. And there's a lot of that in Conker that is just delightfully funny.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there is all the big sophomoric stuff, but there's lots of really subtle things, too, that are just... And the voice acting is so great. The delivery on so much of the comedy is just really handled well. And it's all Bad Fur Day. The Live and Reloaded was...
Not good.
It was great to hear and see, particularly hear these lines delivered in higher fidelity than the N64 could do, but they censored it more. Why?
Yeah,
so weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
That is just one of those, that of all the things that Rare has not done since being purchased by Microsoft, I think Conker is their most mismanaged franchise. Just bar none.
100%.
It's still crazy to me that they haven't made a proper sequel to Bad Fur Day, because especially in an age where something like Deadpool made all the money, like, and it's on a system where it would move better. Like how there was not a proper Conker game on Xbox 360 is just insane to me.
Doesn't make any sense. Live and
Reload was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus on this game's multiplayer. Like because that's what people liked about Conker was it's multiplayer. We want to play this in online multiplayer. Like, sure, I'm sure it's great, but that's not what made that game special. What made that game special was the single player campaign being ridiculously funny. But it was
on Xbox. Everything was multiplayer.
Yeah, everything was about online multiplayer.
Had to be.
Found sadness. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody has got to do something right with Rare's licenses. I mean, we'll see what happens with that new Battletoads game if we ever hear more about that again.
Yeah,
But
apparently that's vaporware at this point.
I don't know what they announced it last year, right?
Yeah, but then nothing.
Yeah. Well, another E3 is coming.
There were more Duke Nukem updates.
Isn't there? Oh God, that just reminded me. Like, Bulletstorm was announced for the Switch with a Duke Nukem mode.
Was it?
Yeah,
No shit.
that's weird.
That is weird.
I heard Bulletstorm is supposed to be really good.
I don't know. I never played it.
I've never played it either.
Because there's a game called Bulletstorm, and I went, it's probably not for me.
It's supposed to be one of those over the top. Like, that's not a platinum game, is it?
Is it? I don't know. Maybe it
I
is
know
for
there's
me
a
then.
reason that I should care about Bulletstorm. Because it's Epic Games. That's it.
Oh, well, no, I don't care then.
Yeah, this was. I know there's a reason people cared about this game, and that's why I didn't. But yeah, it's from Epic, and
I mean, not that they're bad or anything. I don't have anything against them, but the games that they make are not 100% what I want to spend my time on.
yeah, something about this game I think is supposed to be like kind of over the top stupid, which that's kind of my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm vaguely curious about this, especially since there's a friggin' Duke Nukem mode in it. Like, okay, so this game clearly doesn't take itself seriously because you can't put Duke Nukem in a game and take it seriously. So
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make Duke Nukem serious.
no,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it. I think like I'm seeing dinosaurs and weird robots and stuff in this. Like, this might be my brand of stupid. I don't know. There's gonna be another Wolfenstein and a Doom game, so it's not like I'm hurting for first person shooters. I'm not all that good at them anyway.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'll quick run through the other ones that I wrote down before spending some time on the last one. It's worth mentioning Overcooked and Overcooked 2. Not only are they funny to play in a group setting, but Overcooked 2 is features zombie baked goods called the Unbread. That's just funny.
Just objectively funny.
Yeah, that's just straight up comedy. Octodad is hilarious for obvious reasons.
Octodad is very, very fun.
Secret octopus. Delightfully absurd. We talked about Mad World recently, so I won't go too deeply into that, but Mad World is a very funny game.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought House of the Dead Overkill was pretty funny too, but not as funny as Mad World. Mad World really made me laugh. Funniest game I've ever played has to go to Secret of Monkey Island. The Secret of Monkey Island has had such a profound effect on me throughout the course of my life. It was one of the first computer games I ever played at home. When my family finally got a PC with a CD-ROM drive and everything, it came with a small stack of games and
A CD-ROM. It's an interactive CD-ROM.
Thanks, Lex.
See, some of you got it. Other people are like, that's not funny.
It is. Watch Jurassic Park. It's hilarious. So we got our CD-ROM enhanced PC, and it came with a small stack of games. One of them was Wing Commander, Ultima 6: The False Prophet. There's some interactive encyclopedia because like that was a thing. Remember when the encyclopedias were a thing?
That was
And
dope.
they're like, oh, now you could fit all these books into one CD-ROM. Like, what?
Now I don't have to read anymore.
What do I do with all these encyclopedias? Remember, encyclopedias were so crazy. When you think about the way the world works now, like that is just a thing that is so completely outdated. But they would just print these giant books full of just chock full of information. Like, this is going to be things that start with the letter M, and it's just like we're going to talk about everything from munchkins to I don't know,
monkfish.
Monkfish, maple trees, like it's all in here. It's an encyclopedia, full of knowledge. Go
Full
nuts.
of knowledge. And people used to come to your house to try and sell them to you.
Full sets of them, just complete, not just like, oh, here's the letter X. Like, no, you'd buy a set of encyclopedias. Then you'd have all these cool looking books in your house full of information.
And if you were a cool house, if you were a rich house, you had the parent set of encyclopedias and the kids set of encyclopedias.
Oh, yeah. Kids' encyclopedias.
Where they talked about, like, Matchbox cars in the M volume and shit. Like, it was... And now we're just like, fucking Google it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I would...
You're going to look up in a book? Ugh.
I don't even know where I would find an actual encyclopedia. I don't even think they print them anymore. Who knows?
At the library. That's where you could find one.
See. So anyway, one of the other games that came with my computer was The Secret of Monkey Island, which I immediately wrote off. I looked at the cover and I was like, it's a pirate thing. I wasn't huge into pirates. I thought there was a little monkey on the front holding a banana like a gun, and I thought that was kind of funny. But I was like, this looks like some sort of serious thing, and it's just not what I'm into. But one day I was bored, so I popped it in just to see what it was like, and the music immediately grabbed me. Like, that intro music is still one of the best theme songs ever. But then you start up the game, and you meet Guybrush Threepwood, and everyone's mispronouncing his name, and the guy in the scum bar has a little name tag, says, ask me about Loom. You have a conversation with a dog, and then the sword fighting. This game cracked me up, like, regularly made me laugh out loud, and it's so just remarkably clever from beginning to end. It still sticks with me. I just recently was messing around with the Monkey Island Special Edition on Xbox 360, which, please, put that on modern consoles. Put that on everything. That game should never go away. That game, like Portal, is freaking timeless and needs to be on all platforms forever. But yeah, Secret of Monkey Island. I mean, just an absolute profound effect on my sense of humor. Because it hit me at just the right age where I was really... learning who I was as a person, and just that was the comedy that stuck with me so tightly. Like, that level of humor, how appropriate you fight like a cow, or just that one scene where you're on Monkey Island and you're looking around for things to do, and one of the things that you can interact with is the sun. And if you happen to hit walk to the sun, Guybrush just stops, looks at the screen and says, "Oh sure, walk to the sun."
Oh sure.
Brilliant. Just brilliant.
It is an excellent game that, I mean, that is a genre that has just kind of gone away. I mean, I know we've gotten the remasters and all of that, but like the point and click adventure game is just kind of gone.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix Wright picked up the mantle for a while, and then you have stuff like the Telltale games, which are kind of like those. They're more interactive storytelling kind of things than traditional point and clicks. But the series has evolved. I'm really Grim Fandango is on my list of things to do, and
it's great.
That is another one of these kinds of things. But Secret of Monkey Island is just so high on my bar of games to play. Like, I'll play through it over and over and over again.
I can't argue with that, man.
Ghost Pirate LeChuck, root beer, Stan, the used ship salesman. Oh God, rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle.
Rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle.
Matt Much got me one of those. I have a rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. I gotta put it on display somewhere.
At your office. Sure, your coworkers will get it.
I'm kind of out of room. I have so much ridiculous stuff in my office, but well,
all right, Chris.
Yeah, it's time to wrap things up. Yeah, let's call it a night. Stick a pin in it and move on with our lives. This was fun. This was funny. Happy April Fools, everybody, and that's our show. Join us next week as we discuss our favorite video game deaths for no particular reason. Once again, you can get in... Not at all. No reason. Once again, you can get in touch with us at matt@geekade.com, as well as all flavors of social media that we inhabit. You can like us on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Geekade, subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels for all our latest video content, and follow us on Twitter at _Geekade. You can also find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Geekade Kris. That's Geekade KRIS. And Dan, people wanted to. Where could they find you on Twitter?
At Geekade Dan.
I like it. If you're interested in more information about it we discussed here tonight, be sure to check out our show notes. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to this and any of our other wonderful podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher, Or if you're super nice, you can leave us a review because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. We'd like to thank our intrepid editor Evan, for making this for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank Mark TDK Knight for our show's theme song. You can check him out on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, or his website, which we have a link to in the show notes. Again, always remember to keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh, original content. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.